over a century, the Order of the Arrow has been built on connection. Connection between arrowmen and around a shared commitment to provide cheerful service to others. Tonight, we gather to reflect on the year behind us and to share how we're shaping the journey ahead. Please welcome your 2026 National Chief of the Order of the Arrow.
Good evening, and thank you for joining our 2026 Campfire Chat. My name is Joshua Nero, and I'm excited to serve as your 2026 National Chief, along with your Vice Chief, Emma Wright, Eastern Region Chief, Max Mahaloff, and Gateway Region Chief, Kelson Dugdale. Together, we're excited to lead the OA's 2026 national event, Operation Arrow, and help shepherd the program through this exciting change to change how we welcome new members into our brotherhood. Tonight, we want to take a second to look back at the past year, then dive into how the induction is evolving to be a launching point for new members. Looking back on the last year of scouting in the Order of the Arrow has been fantastic. Nationally, we hosted the National Council of Chiefs at the Philmont Scout Ranch, a week-long gathering of lodge chiefs to provide their input on how we shape the future of the OA. 477 airmen attending, connecting with other lodge leaders to exchange ideas and perspectives. NCOC gave our leaders perspective on the past with sessions on history, the future with the release of the new OA app, and they were able to participate in a prototype experience for a new induction, all while getting to explore the beauty of Philmont Scout Ranch. Speaking of our lodge leaders, last year was nothing if not remarkable for our lodges. In 2025, airmen across the country completed over 1 million hours of service, and we welcomed over 20,000 new members into our brotherhood. I'd also like to recognize our two newest lodges, Catan Lodge in upstate New York and Kunamosik Lodge in central and southern Oregon, who recently formed after council mergers. I'd like to take a quick moment to highlight stories from two lodges, Tahusa in Colorado and Wanelamonte in Oregon. Tahusa Lodge set out to make their summer fellowship an event where new members to the OA felt like they could discover the OA. They created a buddy system that paired every newer airman with an experienced member, ensuring no one felt lost or unsure of where they fit. Throughout the weekend, they wove together meaningful service projects that directly benefited their council camp with engaging fellowship activities like themed competitions, team building games, and a lodge-wide cookout that gave airmen real time to connect and get to know each other. Their evening program brought together the best of both tradition and innovation, blending powerful OA ceremonies with interactive activities that kept that energy high and made the experience memorable long after everyone went home. The result was something special. New members left knowing people's names, feeling like they were a part of something, and already asking when the next event would be. It became one of the most successful programs Tahusa ran all year, and it proved that when you intentionally build belonging into every part of a weekend, airmen don't just attend, they come back. For the last 7 years, Wanelamonte has kept the spirit of AeroCorps alive, partnering with the National Forest Service to preserve and improve access to the outdoors for the general public. This year, nearly 100 airmen, some from as far as New York, spent a week in the Willamette National Forest helping to clear trails and preserve campsites. Attendees of the AeroCorps event completed 3,136 hours over 4 days with 6 work projects across a 100 square mile area and cleared over 8 miles of trail for public use. Way to go, Wanelamonte, for your awesome conservation work. It's an exciting time to be an airman in the OA. And if we had endless time, I want to highlight the great work every lodge is doing in their community and for their members. This weekend, the section officers, National OA Committee, and other volunteers have gathered in Dallas, Texas to elect our youth officers, plan for the OA's contribution to the National Jamboree this July, Operation Arrow, and provide support to our evolving program. Operation Arrow is the OA's Jamboree program. At the Jamboree, the OA will form the OA Service Corps, a vital part of ensuring a smooth and successful Jamboree experience for over 40,000 scouts. Additionally, the OA is developing a rendezvous and an experience honoring the legacy of the OA, and a new experience at the Summit Circle. The rendezvous will bring every airman at Jamboree together for an opportunity of fellowship and inspiration, helping connect airmen from across the country together and share in our spirit of brotherhood. The Legacy experience will showcase the permanent OA display at the summit and tell the story of how the OA has become Scouting's National Honor Society. It will be a place to connect, reflect, and be inspired by our organization. Additionally, the Summit Circle is an exclusive OA experience at Jamboree, where airmen will gather for a special ceremony at one of the Summit's most iconic locations. It's the chance to connect with fellow members from across the country in a meaningful moment that honors what it means to be a part of the Order of the Arrow. We have opportunities for additional airmen to come and support the Jamboree through these great experiences or serve in support roles like admin and base programs. If you're interested, visit oa-scouting.org/jamboree to learn more about opportunities to staff Jamboree with the OA. But whether you're staffing Jambo or attending, I hope to see you at the summit. During the National OA Committee meeting at the National Planning Meeting, the National OA Committee voted to update the induction to the Order of the Arrow with the purpose of creating a welcoming new member experience designed to build connection between Scouts and to ensure every new member experiences our values of brotherhood, cheerfulness, and service immediately and meaningful as a part of their induction. Here to talk to me about the change is Chris Grove, Chair of the National OA Committee, and David Hyman, Chair of the Member Journey Subcommittee. Before we dive into our discussion, could you both tell me where you're from and a foundational memory from your induction? Chris, would you go first?
Yeah, thanks, Joshua. I am from Tipsaw Lodge in Orlando, Florida, and I remember going through my ordeal, showing up as a 13-year-old kid, scared to death about what was going to happen. And we're walking down to our work site, and we get into the campsite, and they tell us we're going to be clearing trees, and we're all looking at each other and like, now what? And so finally, the Langamat, Mike Ashcraft, looks at me and says, "Look, we're going to be cutting down trees. We're not going to be able to be under a vow of silence while we're doing this. And so, don't talk about what you're doing on the weekend, but just let's talk, let's communicate." And honestly, I remember that connection that we could make during that time frame, and it made all of us feel so much better to have that person there that was there to support us.
Yeah, and I'm David Hyman. I'm from Nishikatan Lodge is where I'm registered, and I grew up. I was one of the historic lodge chiefs from there and section chief. It's outside of St. Louis in Collinsville, Illinois. But I actually live in Chicago right now. And a memory from my induction, the story I always tell, and we tell the stories of like things that go wrong, right? I got placed off of the trail underneath this tree for my night alone. Right where I was placed, there was these really loud cicadas that just started chirping, and they didn't stop chirping. It seemed all night, so I had absolutely no sleep. Just remember the sound of them. It's kind of something that triggers me to this day when I hear cicadas. So it's part of our experience, I guess.
Thanks, David and Chris. Those are wonderful moments, and I think all of our airmen have had similar experiences from their induction weekend. Thank you both for sharing. Chris, can you share why the Order of the Arrow felt it was important to pause and reflect on how we welcome new members today?
Yes. Last year, we inducted almost 37,000 people into the Order of the Arrow. Our membership still dropped by 5.7%. That means that we lost about 39,000 people out of the Order of the Arrow last year, and that's consistent with years in the past. Some of this loss is certainly expected, but we have to be doing something successfully for so many years that all of a sudden seemed to be failing for the last several years, that we weren't retaining members as much as we used to. Society's changed. Young men and women have different needs, different pressures, and different resources than we had 20 years ago. So it quickly became apparent to us that we needed to change how we approach things. In 2019, we realized this, and we needed to start looking at ways to update and modernize our ceremonies. We passed an updated mission, vision, and purpose in July 2024, and at that time, it accelerated that and said, wait a minute, we don't need to just change ceremonies. We need to look at how we do our induction and how to try to retain young men and women in scouting. And so we said the induction is the one experience that every airman shares. It's the foundation, it's for our common bond. And our vision is to be why Scouts want to stay in scouting. That starts the very first moment that someone from the joins the Order of the Arrow, from the moment of their election onward through the induction experience. So belonging is how scouts stay and a new member feels connected to those fellow Arrowmen and understand our shared purpose from day one. They're far more likely to continue their scouting journey through the OA if they're connected and feel that brotherhood. The OA is meant to be lived. It's not to be earned. We want every Arrowman to have that first weekend, coming out of that first weekend, energized and ready to return. We get one chance to get that right.
The new induction is designed around connection. Instead of spending the weekend in silence and isolation, new members will spend time in guided discussions and reflections with each other. They'll talk, they'll share, they'll actually get to know the people going through the experience alongside them. Service is still at the heart of it. That hasn't changed. But now, when new members serve, they understand why it matters and how it connects to who we are as an organization. Throughout the weekend, there are moments we're calling guidances, structured activities, and reflections led by luminary. Think of a luminary like an mat, but with a bigger role. They're the ones walking alongside new members, helping them make sense of what they're experiencing and what brotherhood, cheerfulness, and service actually mean in their lives. The ceremonies still bookend the weekend. They still carry weight and meaning, but we've made them more accessible, with 5 principals, smaller speaking parts, and the option for one ceremonialist to be on book. The goal of a new induction is simple. When a new airman leaves their induction, they should feel connected to the people they met, clear on what the OA's ideals are, and excited to come back.
Joshua, from your perspective as a youth leader, why does the change matter right now?
Honestly, Chris, this has come up a lot when I've attended events in my lodge and section. When I talk to new members after their induction, I hear a mix of things. Some feel like they had a powerful experience. Others tell me they're still not really sure what the OA is about or why it matters. Worried that everything the OA has to offer is an ordeal. That gap worries me. What I wish every new airman understood from their first weekend is that this isn't just something you're awarded and move on. The OA is supposed to be a community, a place where you belong, where you're challenged to grow and where you get to provide service alongside people who care about the same things you do. But if someone leaves their induction weekend confused or feeling disconnected, we've lost them before they even started. In fact, we know that 8 out of 10 airmen don't return to another OA event after their induction. So this change matters to me because it's about making sure the experience matches the OA's promise. We say we're built on brotherhood, cheerfulness, and service. We say we want to be the reason scouts stay in scouting. But if new members don't feel that from day one, if they don't walk away knowing what those values mean and how they fit into this organization, then we're not living up to who we say we are. This gives us a chance to make a better first impression, to make sure every new airman leaves their induction feeling inspired by our ideals and ready to show up to their next OA event like a chapter meeting or lodge fellowship. David, as our lead rider, where do you see brotherhood, cheerfulness, and service coming through more clearly in the new induction? And how does this help the OA be the reason scouts stay in scouting?
Yeah, Joshua, thank you for asking that. I think when we were working in the writing team, it's been an incredible process of collaboration, of so many voices of people working through that. And we never looked for what we were trying to take away. We looked for what we were trying to lift up. And very early in our discussions, it was very clear that the values that we most treasure are brotherhood, cheerfulness, and service. And so we want to make sure that those are facing forward, that they're the front of what we do. That we give everybody the chance to be able to bond with one another and to talk with one another. So while we've made changes, you're going to find a lot of familiarity because it's who we are. It's what we're about. At the weekend or whenever somebody does an induction, maybe it's at summer camp, service is still going to be a component of that. But as somebody who teaches about service and learning, I'm not always interested in just service being done, but did we feel the impact of what service has done to ourselves and to the people that we're helping out, our camps, our councils. And so that's at a core of the new induction experience, is retaining that chance for service. You talked about people who stepped away, and some people get it and some people don't get it. Well, we designed specific moments throughout the induction experience to make those values tangible, to have them pop out, come alive, and really connect with people in different kind of personalities. Some of us learn in one way and some of us learn in different ways. And to be able to broaden our sense of how we teach brotherhood, truthfulness, and service gives everybody the chance to be able to internalize that and make it personal.
I know we took great care to ensure our values and the meaning of our new induction was clear to our new members. In writing the new induction experience and the ceremonies that bookend the induction weekend, what were you most careful about protecting?
Well, it's actually the culmination of what used to be the ordeal ceremony, that we'll be calling it the ceremony of the fire. It's the culmination of the whole experience. It's when our new members get to hear for the first time the admonition to love one another. By highlighting that and making it clear that that's what we aim, and then everything that we do revolves around that. What does brotherhood revolve around? It revolves of love of other. What does service revolve around? It revolves an act of love. What does cheerfulness revolve around? It's being a sense of joy in our lives that love brings forth. So to love one another, that's at the sort of pinnacle of the ceremonies. The ceremonies do bookend the experience of the induction. They start it off and give the challenges. We still have the test of the bow. We still have a lot of the words that are in our old ceremonies are retained. What is new, I think, as you experience it, you're going to find the sense of welcome, the sense of this belongs to us because it's how we have grown and evolved and understood our organization to be. There's still a sense of mystery, and there's still a sense of meaning, and taking the time of reflection that helps us to know what you're a part of matters. I think you said it earlier, it's not about being an award, it's about being a mission, something that we're launched onto for our life of service that goes forth after our induction.
So what will a new airman's experience look like now?
Well, as I said, a lot is going to be the same, Joshua. They're going to come probably on a Friday night, or depending, again, sometimes people will do this in the middle of a camping week or something like that, but the first night, instead of just, Chris, when you were talking about your induction and being kind of scared, we're going to start with meeting with the luminaries in a group, and we're going to connect with each other. We're going to make sure we know each other's names. We're going to talk about your scouting experiences. We're going to orient people to the experience before they go into the first ceremony. The first ceremony is going to be, it's called the Ceremony of the Arrow, and it's going to give the sense of why the arrow is at the heart of our organization, why it's important. And then they'll be able to do the night alone, night without shelter, and wake up the next morning and they're connecting right away again with their luminary crew before they go off to have service. They'll do about 6 hours of service on any given induction, but there's also going to be breaks where they talk, where they reflect, where they hear more about brotherhood, cheerfulness, service. There's what we call guidances. A key theme to what we've put into this induction is how do we remove distractions and find direction. So part of that is actually we're inscribing into the experience that electronic devices, cell phones, watches are things we need to step away from because we want to move away from all the things that would distract us and help us connect with one another. There's still times of silence. There's still times where we intentionally think about how do we reflect deeper. And not only do we take those moments of silence, but we do some opportunities to teach our new members how to use that silence well, how to really engage in a thoughtfulness that helps them to find their purpose a little more. Our hope, and I believe our belief, and what we've seen from those who've gone through the experience, that they're going to leave knowing each other and knowing what our values are. That I think they're going to find a sense of deeper purpose that maybe was intuitive and implicit before, but now we're making it explicit and possible for all of our members to be able to connect with.
Great. Thank you, David. Before we close, I'd like to toss a question back to you, Joshua. What role do airmen play in making this experience more meaningful for new members?
That's a great question, Chris. The honest answer is everything. This whole experience depends on us. The most important thing you can do is go through the new induction yourself. Experience it as a new member. That's how we're rolling this out. The induction is something we all have a shared experience in, no matter your lodge. So it goes without saying that the best way to know the new induction is by living it together. When you've been through it, you'll understand it in a way you can't get from a video or a handbook, and then you can help bring it to your lodge. And even if you're not on an induction team or leading your ceremony weekend, show up to events. Be someone a new member can talk to. Share your story about what the OA has meant to you. Sometimes the smallest moment of connection is what makes someone decide to come back and allows them to expand on their scouting journey. We're building something together here, and the more of us who lean in, the better this experience is going to be for the airmen who come after us.
So what I'd like you to remember is that the induction is helping us foster an understanding of the Order of the Arrow's ideals: brotherhood, cheerfulness, and service. They haven't changed. Those are our core values, and those are our tenets that have not changed. Our induction experience is meant to encourage connection between members. It's meant to get scouts to come to a second lodge event. It's meant to engage them. Lodges will learn, how is this all going to happen? Lodges are going to learn through experience. We're going to start with national induction experiences to train exemplar lodges. Think of passing the candle down from our exemplar lodges and to the lodges in their section, and then lodges that are neighboring, and on and on and on. The only way that this works is if we can get our current existing members to go through that full induction experience as you recommended, Joshua. You've got to live this and experience it in order to understand everything that comes with it. Lodges, I'm sure all of you are saying, well, when am I going to see the script? I just want to see what is going on. I can assure you that this will be released at the right time. You're not going to see a script released tomorrow. In fact, you're not going to see a script next week. What you're going to see is, as you mentioned, reading a script doesn't get you there. You need to go to the movie. You need to experience the movie. In fact, you need to be in this movie in order to really understand it. By March, we will begin to roll out plenty of our finalized resources, such as guides, training videos, and planning toolkits for the new induction. Sections are now in the process of planning events for lodges to send teams to experience the induction. A list of all the confirmed events will soon be available in early February to work with your lodge leadership on who's attending on behalf of your lodge to those events. Additional information about setting up an opportunity for your lodge's members to experience the new induction will then be shared in the coming weeks. Resources and training materials will be available March 15th, but lodges don't just start with the new induction when they get those materials. They need to go through an appropriate training, such as a national induction experience or through one of the exemplar lodges, and through that cascading process before they're ready and prepared to do their first new member induction.
Thanks, Chris. Thank you for joining us for our Campfire Chat. We look forward to a great year.